is Michelle Lim. I was born in South Korea, in Seoul.
Just finally able to come on just like a 1 week holiday. Liked it more than I ever thought I would. And then it was kind of decided that I had to live here.
My name is Neachelle Nadeau, and I am a Marine wife stationed at MCAS Miramar.
I just wanted to prove that, maybe I can do it too.
I've always enjoyed the idea of being able to speak a foreign language. It's always something that I've kind of aspired to. And I think the reason Japanese appeals to me is because it's so different to everything I've been used to.
Every day you have to battle, you have to struggle to communicate.
What I didn't like in the beginning was mainly I wasn't able to communicate with anybody when I first entered the States.
When I first went to the UK, my English wasn't really that great.
I didn't know the language that well, both English, what I spoke in my school, and German that I had to speak outside of school.
I've had many word problems with Spanish and Japanese. I think language is very extreme in Japan. If you don't know Japanese, you're kind of out.
Some people you just cannot understand.
Like if you go to a shop, many times they see you and they're gonna approach you, then they see you're a foreigner and they're like, oh, sorry. And you're like, oh, so I don't get help.
Some people, they speak to you in words, or they speak to you really, really slowly like you're a little kid. You still don't understand them.
Now I kind of take it humorously, and at the same time kind of making statements saying if somebody says to me, oh, Nihongo umai desu ne, or you speak good Japanese, I would come back and say, oh, you too, you speak pretty good Japanese, not as good as me.
I think it's really important to know who we are and to reflect that.
On our entire street, no two houses came from the same country. And everybody there had gone through immigration struggles and the fight to be in the country. And there was this huge level of respect for the cultures.
People in Mexico, well, they're famous because you go somewhere, right away they will talk to you, they will make you feel welcome.
English people are very, very strict about that, about having a sense of right and wrong within.
People in Australia value family a lot more.
Japan kind of has a reputation of being closed down and not very welcoming to outsiders. But I think that is completely different to the experiences I had.
Moving to the US, it was the true kind of American dream type thing where you learn the importance of expressing yourself. Which culture do I associate more? That's a tough one because I think I'm Japanese, but I can also say that I'm really a mixture of things now.
When I live in Japan, I associate a lot with my Latin American culture side.
I definitely feel like I associate more with my own culture. Growing up in a country and living there for the first sort of 20 odd years of your life is a link that you can't really break.
And then when I'm in Chile or in anywhere else in South America, I feel longing for the Japanese culture.
Still Dutch, I'm proud of being Dutch. But I do notice that I'm changing from a Dutch person to something else.
Once you immerse yourself into a new culture, different places, you're going to start to see the side that you never seen before about yourself.
Eventually we hit a brick wall, we stumble and fall. Things do not go the way we want.
The first time I was in Japan, there was a moment maybe after like 1 or 2 months where I just hated Japan.
The working life here, I'm in architecture and it's a very demanding lifestyle where you finish at 12 every night and I get home at 1.
It's not easy, I think, to adapt to Japan. I know many people who can't.
I can't do anything except, wake up, go to work, finish work, go home and sleep, and then start again.
I'm actually going home in September to go work in London. And I don't know if I'm going to be back. The reason being that I don't know if I can handle Japanese working hours, unfortunately.
Even if I quit my job here, if I look for another job in the same industry, it will be the same story. So there's really no way out of this quite full-on lifestyle.
It's not to say that Americans are rude, but some of the tendencies wouldn't be tolerated in my culture.
Belgium has more of a is more socially coherent, is more closely knit together.
To be really honest, living in LA, it was very difficult at some point to live in a society like that where you can't walk in the park anymore. It's too dangerous, and you park your bicycle and you come back and your wheel's not there,
If I don't go through immigration and following their steps to stay here, I would be deported. I wouldn't get to stay with my husband. I wouldn't get to see the friends I've made here, and my family's here. You feel like you're a little kid through the entire process.
I certainly don't recommend the loneliness that you're gonna live for the rest of your life. It's something you start to, because you're rootless, you don't feel that you really belong to one particular group or area anymore.
We all came from a country somewhere around the world and we're all far away from home. We all don't have our family around.
We would move every 3-4 years, and 3 years meaning the first year it's a whole year of trying to get used to the new place. The second year you finally have really good friends, and the third year you finally get a girlfriend or have good relationships, and that's when I have to leave.
I do feel bad about the fact that I don't feel like my home country is my home country anymore.
I realized that I felt displaced because I couldn't find things that reminded me or tasted like home.
I just noticed I'm forgetting certain words in the Dutch language. I having issues talking to people. Just being there, it doesn't feel like home anymore.
It's just the constant feeling of uncertainty is contributing to me wanting to maybe leave the country.
A lot of people told me to give up, and that was, yeah, I think it would have been so easy for me to just caved in.
Besides all those negative feelings that I get from living here, it's such a nice place to live, Japan.
There are moments that I felt so at home, like living in these foreign countries.
I feel like the States has given me a broader sense of skills and opportunities that I haven't been able to acquire elsewhere.
I learned the importance of being independent.
When you've moved around as much as I have, you find bits and pieces of other cultures that you relate to. That's kind of what America's about.
The struggles or the differences that we had to overcome, I realized that was between individuals. It wasn't really about the language or cultural barrier.
When I go to Latin America, people are so interested in Japan and how the people are. So I kind of function as a bridge between both things. I become Japanese when I need to be, and I become a Latino when I need to be.
If I could share my experience and through my mouth or through my action, the way people can understand it, then that's my role. Now, I think there's a lot of chances that people can discover themselves even if never left Japan.
Just knowing that you can easily hop on a plane and be wherever you want to be in the world, that really sort of takes the burden off of living abroad.
This is such a cliche, but we only live once, and not experiencing new things, it just the thought of not being able to do that, it just blows my mind.
There's just so much to learn just from being in the middle, like dislocating yourself.
It's a great chance, it's a great experience.
Yeah, leaving is the hard part, doing new things is fun.
Home is not so far away, it's right where you are.